Well, I was just quickly looking up Tucker Carlson's Twitter account now to see what we can get as far as his ratings go. It says that he's had 200 million views on this current interview. Of course, that's not exactly 200 million people who've watched the clip, but neither are news broadcasts accurate for people who've left their TV on, etc. Whatever it is, it's still a figure that CNN would be horribly, horribly jealous of. But here's another short clip from the interview with Tucker Carlson and Putin.
But I'm confused. I mean, that's the biggest act of industrial terrorism ever, and it's the largest emission of CO2 in history. Okay.
Now, there are lots of little sound bites like this about current political topics, lots of vague comments from Putin, and then there's this sort of middle half-hour history lesson. Nick, the UK writers of The Spectator have been extremely critical of the interview. Would you agree, for example, with Freddie Gray, who wrote, and I quote, "The trouble with ageing authoritarians is not necessarily that nobody dares to tell them they are wrong, it's that nobody ever tells them they are being tiresome," end quote. Or Sergei Radchenko, who thought that Tucker did a poor job of holding Putin to account on his history, saying that Putin was imposing Russia's history lesson on the rest of us. What do you think about that?
This is what happens, of course. Hubris sets in when you're in that position. I mean, I've had bosses like that, right? They think that because everybody's laughing at their joke, that they're incredibly funny. You know, they don't sort of take into account the fact that people are laughing at it because they feel they want to keep on the good side of the boss. And the real danger here, of course, when you fall into that trap, and Putin is clearly in this position, when nobody will stand up and put a contrary position, is the groupthink sets in, and you end up going down a very narrow range of thinking. I mean, look, if anybody, if there was any sense in the way Putin ran his administration, he would have gone round the table and said, "Do you think it's a good idea that I invade Ukraine? And it's a good idea that I do it at this time of year through muddy fields with tanks." And you can bet that 3/4 of the room would have said, "Look, I'd think again about that, Mr. President," because nobody does. So this is how tyrants become really, really bad in time.